Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the anime Seven Seeds on Netflix. And I did not enjoy this anime. It wasn't kind of like the worst anime that I've seen, but all of the things taken together just make it just this boring, bland thing to watch. And I would not recommend watching. So, let's get into it. The setup and premise for this anime is intriguing. We get the information that the Earth had this cataclysmic event with these meteors, and they decided, in Japan at least, to take 7 people and make 7 groups for the 7 seeds, cryogenically freeze them, and then thaw them out to repopulate the Earth and reclaim it. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It is done in the most boring way possible. So let's begin with the animation. It is just bland. I mean, I know it takes a lot to do hyper detailed animation, and I'm not talking about that it has to be completely hyper detailed, but this just seems like a generic anime. Like if I put this up against any kind of other anime, I would have a hard time trying to pick it out of a lineup. There's no interesting, real good character designs to make the characters seem like, oh, I could pick them out of a lineup. Nope. You don't have uh, Full Metal Alchemist like Edward Elric or Alphonse or Mustang where you could like pick them up out of a lineup or whatnot. You're like, oh, okay, I know that. It's just so generic, and this is about the survival and the changes that the Earth has gone through, and even like the giant insects and different kind of weird creatures that they interact with, they just look so bland and uninteresting and are just kind of stiff. There's not a lot of action scenes to denote this fight for survival. And the few that are in there aren't tense whatsoever. You're either like, oh, I called that that's going to happen, or it's just barely there. It's not very well executed. It's just kind of there. I'm like, oh, okay. And the characters are just as bland too. It doesn't help that when you're watching the dub, the voice actors seem just as unenthused with the whole thing as we are. And I put that down to the direction of trying to get the actors interested. I don't put this on the voice actors. I've heard bad voice acting. This is just bad direction of getting them into it. They sound as bored as I was of watching it. So the main crux of the plot is that we've got a boyfriend and girlfriend couple, Arashi and Hana, and they're trying to find each other in this post-apocalyptic world. Now, at first, they don't know that each other have been cryogenically frozen. They're trying to figure out if they can find everybody, and they don't know how long it's been since they've been frozen. That timeline thing's completely fucked up because we also have this other dude, Aramaki, who's been awake for 15 years, and we don't know how long he was, like, how far that was from the cataclysmic event. We also get information that there's this shelter that was done around the time that the catastrophe had happened. And we don't know how long that survived or how long ago that was. It's just the barest minimum to keep the plot going. And the plot is just barely there. It's like, oh, these people trying to survive. You actually have to have them doing interesting kind of things to go on. And most of them, the characters are just down to the archetypes. Arashi's trying to find his girlfriend. Hana's trying to find her boyfriend. Aramaki's just trying to not be alone because we've seen in his backstory that he's lost his friends and that he is been a lonely motherfucker and made a pack of dogs to try and not be lonely. We also get the kind of other teams. We get friction with certain things. Autumn, we've got like 2 people being dictatorial dickweeds, but they switch at the end because a volcano exploded and fucked their shit up. They're like, ah, shit! And we go like, okay, we can somehow trust these motherfuckers? Okay. God. And then we've got a group of like 7 sociopath motherfuckers who are like, they're the civilians! We will lead them! Rah, rah, rah! Because they've been fucked over by, evidently, Hana's father, as they built this group to do all this stupid shit that pretty much scarred them to being essentially the new world's murderers. Yay. That program gets an F for fucked up. Because it fucked them up, fucked these people up, because we get to the end of the anime, and they're pretty much trying to kill Anna in retribution, even though she didn't know her father did any of that shit. So she gets sucked up into a whirlpool. Aramaki gets pissed off, gets into a dude's face, and that's the end of the season. Like, it is one of the worst cutoffs. I'm like, that's it? Wow. It ended right there as he was, like, confronting this dude for doing the things. I'm like, wow. Alright, whatever there. So, this anime is just nuts, man, because it seems to be accelerated to such a pace that it's trying to get through the plot as much as possible and get to the good stuff, but we don't see them learning about certain things a lot. It's just, I mean, we do see them learning about certain foods and everything, but it doesn't become really important or called back. We just see it because, oh, this is our survival anime, we gotta do this. Oh, there's a giant bug or whatnot, we gotta kill it, or we gotta watch out because we're gonna die or whatnot. It's got such a good premise, and it was just executed so poorly and so boringly that I wouldn't recommend anybody to watch this. There's not really any action to really be interesting. You're just like, oh, okay, this is going on. There's not really that much character development other than the kind of requisite of what they're trying to do to get the plot to move forward. And I'm not taking this and judging the source material, because I understand that there can be great source material that is adapted poorly as fuck. So, and if you enjoyed this, that's fine. It's just, this deserves so much better. I mean, this could have been really kind of cool, and I understand that we are going to get more episodes because they've got like other parts that they've got to do, but after watching these 12 episodes, I was like, oh god, fine. My objective was just to get through it and be like, okay, let me get through this so that way I can tell other people and be like, listen, you don't have to do this. I would recommend watching anything else. Like, if you need a time filler anime, go back to any oldies or goodies or whatnot, or look elsewhere. This was just, it wasn't even so bad it's good in a kind of way. This isn't like a Kung Pao Enter the Fist or whatnot. This is just, I usually go harder on things that have potential and execute it poorly, rather than things that are just completely and utterly bad and kind of just like keep going and just doing kind of worse kind of things. I think there's that kind of balance where it's like, okay, you did something completely crazy and crappy, but at least it's kind of funny for me to watch. This, it more pisses me off than anything. It's like, oh, come on. You could have done more interesting stuff with the bugs. You could have had whole other episodes filling in these kind of things, intricately weaving these other things through and all this lore, and you just don't. Like Aramaki's whole thing, I doubt you're going to get much more out of it, even though a prequel part of it would have been pretty damn great. Showing off his kind of struggles as being a loner and dealing with all that kind of stuff and all of his trials and tribulations to give us more context for him. But we really, after watching this, I wouldn't watch it if it's done by the same people. I'm like, no. And then we kind of got this thing set up that we might get a weird, crazy love triangle between him and Hana and Arashi, and it's like, no, please. Then this other girl that wants to be with Arashi, it's like, no, please stop it. It's just cliche, boring writing. It's like, come on. There's a lot of other better things that people can do. Oh, God. So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.